Hey, what's up you money makers? Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be talking about ticker symbol HCMC OTC traded stock. If you have been following this channel, we have been looking into this stock pretty closely. If you're new to my channel, I want to give you a quick update on HCMC, what's going on. The stock is trading at 0.0012 and the stock is pretty steady. The price is pretty steady. In this video, I want to talk about three things. I have noticed a pretty huge short volume ratio. So I want to update you on the short volume ratio and how it can impact the price point in upcoming days and upcoming weeks for HCMC. The second thing is the vitamin store that they have relaunched, and we'll look into what it means for the company. And the third thing is I want to talk about three things that the company is moving forward with. I have been able to see the strategies that the company has been putting in place to keep up the momentum that is going on with the stock price, with the social media buzz, with the momentum in general, with the revenue, so on and so forth. So I want to talk about all these things. Consider subscribing to my channel. Click on the like button on this video. Like, share, and subscribe. Your support and help is very much appreciated for the growth on my channel. Now, without further delay, I want to talk about the things that we just discussed. So the first thing is short volume ratio. Let's take a look into the short volume ratio. This is the short volume ratio from yesterday, the 29th of March, and the short volume is 1.5 billion. So this is pretty huge. Now you're going to think about this is a $300 billion stocks, and they're open for the investors and for the shareholders in the market. Now 1.5 billion is pretty huge because of the short volume ratio. Take a look here. The short volume ratio is 149%. What it means in general, what you want to consider is the overall volume. Now today's overall volume up until now, and we have one more minute before the market close, and I want to share this video. So today's volume is 4.75 billion more or less. Yesterday's volume was 5 billion more or less as well. And considering that, if you think the short volume is 1.5 billion, that's pretty huge. 150% short volume ratio is pretty huge as well. Now, if you start looking into this trend, the short volume ratio on 26th of March was 760%. What this means is during the trade, whatever happens during the trading session, most of the stocks are being shorted, which suggests that that there are short players playing with the stock at the moment, and which is why there's a pressure on the stock price. If you take a look at the stock price right now, the stock's day range was 0.0010 to 0.0013, mostly due to the short selling that is happening during the trading session. If you take a look right here, when the volume was a little bit higher and when we saw 123% short volume ratio, at that time the short volume was 2.1 billion. Now when we are seeing 150% stock being shorted in terms of like short volume ratio, the short volume is 1.5 billion. Now what it means in general is once we start seeing more volume, the short positions will need to catch up pretty fast. In that sense, the stock can gain the price during the trading session. So the short volume is pretty high in my opinion, at least from the percentage standpoint. In addition to that, the company I want to talk about the strategy. There are three things the company has been doing. The first one is the PR strategy. Now, press release and making sure that they remain in the social media. The company has launched their new Twitter page. Now, what this means is company is focusing a lot more into how they're picturing themselves into the social media, into the investor segment, into the shareholders. And in my opinion, the company is looking into some of the stuff that is going on with Wall Street Bet and Reddit and whatnot. That is why the company is focusing a lot more into making sure that they are being transparent and sharing more and more information with the community and the investment forums, so on and so forth. The second thing is their strategy. What is their strategy is basically cleaning up their financials, making sure that the company doesn't have huge debt, making sure that the company cleans up their balance sheet. If you have seen about some of the cleaning that the company has done to improve their balance sheet in the past, that is pretty phenomenal. They have 300 billion stocks floating around, which is a pretty huge number, but the stock price is pretty low as well. Looking at that, the company is not even penny stock. Company is a micro cap stock. Their price is 0.0012, which is something that you also want to consider. So, and the third thing is the company is also focusing on the revenue optimization, in my opinion. Why is it so important that the company is focusing on? If you take a look at the revenue, the company has three subsidiary companies. In Q4, the revenue was 3.23 million. Q3, the revenue was 3.35 million. And Q2 and Q1, the revenue is somewhere between 3 to 4 million US dollars, which suggests that the company is doing pretty well. It's a steady company, and now they have launched the vitamin store. That I'll get to that in a second. But the last thing I want to focus on is the most important thing that we are all talking about, which is the lawsuit. The company has been focusing a lot more on their lawsuit, the patent infringement lawsuit with Philip Morris. They have been making sure that they are sharing more and more information as to what's going on with their motion to dismiss. It's what's going on, and they worked with Philip Morris, and both the companies filed for an extension. That makes me think that there is something definitely going on in terms of negotiation between HCMC and Philip Morris. Now, this is all speculation. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not a financial advice, so do your own due diligence. But I want to say that when both the companies agreed upon the terms that, oh, let's extend something, extend the date, that does mean that they're at least on the same page with one of the things that is going on with the lawsuit. However, that might be a legit case that both the companies, they need the time, and the lawyers agreed that they want to buy more time, so on and so forth. But that's super important. Lawsuit could be up to $1 billion settlement. It could be, in addition to that, the company could have some sort of acquisition that might be going on with them as well. As you can see, this company has three subsidiary companies. One is the HCMC Intellectual Property Holding LLC, that holds the patents and the IP portfolio that the company has. The second one is the Healthy Choices Management Market, and this is a physical location with the 1,800 square feet grocery physical location in Florida. And the third one in the vape store. Now, the fourth one is the major revenue opportunity for the company, which is the vitamin stores, and I want to get to that as well. Now, what this means is, according to the news release from the company, it is making the product available for purchase online via the vitamin store. The Healthier Choices Management acquired this online storefront when they purchased the Three Paradise Health and Nutrition location in Florida, and now they noted that the online store will carry the range of vitamins and supplements from all the major brands. Now, it also will be the only online store carrying the product from ADA or ADA, which was previously only available at the physical ADA's natural location in Melbourne. Now, this is pretty important, and here is I want to share real quick the link. Here is their vitamin store. If you take a look, the company has a really great branding, and the site is pretty basic, I want to say. And I was able to find this is built via Shopify, so on and so forth. And I assume that they'll be doing a lot more enhancement and feature updates as they go. But what this means is, company is opening up another revenue model and making their products available globally for the users. They want to build connections with their users. They want to make sure that the products are available online to anyone and everyone that needs. And all these ADA products are widely used, at least in Florida and in Melbourne, from my research I found. So that's a newer avenue for the company to build more revenue streams for themselves, which is a great thing. So the company is focusing more and more to identify how they can connect with one-to-one with their user base. So this is a great thing. In addition to that, the company has been pretty significantly making sure that they are clearing up all the debt, making sure that their balance sheet is pretty good, so on and so forth. Now, if you take a look at the stock price was below 0.0001. That spiked up all the way to 0.0065, and right now it is trading at 0.0012. There is a high possibility that the stock can double from this price point. We are waiting for April 16th, and we'll see what happens with the lawsuit. That's one of the biggest thing. You want to consider that if they do the settlement, the company's market cap is pretty small, $371 million. Now, if the lawsuit and settlement comes down to, let's say, $1 billion, it's 3 times more than the market cap that the company has. There could be two possibilities if they want to bump up their price. One is the buyback, and another one is the reverse split. The reverse split option does seem like a pretty not so investor friendly friendly, especially if you own their stock, but their buyback opportunity sounds pretty promising. Now, you also want to consider that their insiders, including their CEO, they're holding pretty good amount of stocks of HCMC. So whatever they do in terms of their stock price, it will help them as well. So you want to consider that insiders are holding more stocks, they have enough confidence in the company, and whatever decisions that they take in terms of buyback or reverse split, they'll be taking the decision in the best interest of the company as well as in their own best interest as well. So these are some pros and cons I wanted to share as an update. The major update is the short volume. We want to wait for the volume spikes up. We have seen massive volume for HCMC in the past. Right now the volume is pretty small in my opinion, 4.75 billion. It's a pretty significant volume. I'm not saying small in terms of it is not being traded properly. What I'm saying is we have seen up to 30 billion volume, given that the total float is 300 billion shares available in the market for shareholders and institutional buyers, so on and so forth. So 5 billion, close to 5 billion is a little bit smaller volume compared to what we have seen in the past. I wanted to share this update with you, hoping you can get this update, make informed financial decision. I think there is an opportunity to double the money if someone buys it at this point. We're waiting for one more good news. I wanted to say a good news from the company, good news on the lawsuit front for the patent infringement with Philip Morris, and the stock will be spiked up double or triple from this price point. I truly believe that. I'm not a financial advisor, but just wanted to share this information with you. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching this video. I'll see you next time.